When you look openly at what is available to the whole existence of life, you'll understand that mind has infinite possibilities and infinite ways to appear and act out what can be classed as either spontaneous or pre-planned. Your mind has choices. But the fact is, mind is vast. And a human, what we deem as a human quality of mind, you see, because we can only work with what comes up through our emotional sensory body. So the emotions are stimulated, the emotions through experience, through action, through just being, portray some sort of need to express, whether it's verbally, pictorially, sensically, touchingly, soundfully. And of course the body itself, the verbal ability to talk, in comparison to a whale under the ocean, which can hear its fellow whale miles, kilometers away, where our hearing is just also limited. So what we appear to be a limited species with a limited mind, in amongst a vast species that we can call existence, all life, in a vast mind. And what takes place as an individual is your mind that you have accepted with respect, love, adoration, with no choice. Nothing else I can do, I have to accept this. You can call it conditioning, you can call it programming, but it is what it is, you see. And each one of us will experience our own vastness from the whole vastness. That doesn't mean to say that the experience is much more intelligent, much more wise, much more beneficial. In fact, the experience can be detrimental to your colleagues, your family, to the extent that they don't understand your experience. Just like you don't understand anyone else's experience. Unless it's offered verbally, if it's offered verbally, pictorially, language, communication, descriptive, whatever ways we have to communicate, we get a feeling, and we can either replicate, try and copy, we can understand fully, we can say, it's very similar. We can make assumptions, we can make, try and negotiate, try and unite the same experiences, even though one is expressing in a different way. We're always trying to balance them out and try and unite them and make them equal. Same as we do with humanity, we want everyone to be equal. Same money, same quality of breath, same food, amount of food, not particularly different qualities. We want everyone to be the same. So when your mind is affected by alcohol, drugs, hallucination, mushrooms, forms of existential meditation, lucid dreaming practices, holding your breath underwater, putting your body through ice, all different ways to try and see how far I can push, see how far the mind can push itself to discover the vastness of what it is. And then through a limited mind, when you accept your limited mind and you stop pushing through the vastness, you're still looking for some sort of reason for being here, some sort of source that made this, some sort of creative, iconic, wholesome Brahman state, absolute state, Atman state, God state, conscious state, spiritual state. We're all looking for that thing. Where can it be in the vastness, you see? When you look down a tunnel and there's light at the other end, and you can see all the, what you would call the sides, circular sides, and there's nothing to stop the view of the whole circle at the other end being complete. You know there's nothing in the tunnel, but if there's something sticking out an edge, it breaks up that full whole circle, and you know there's something between you and that light, something within the tunnel between you and that light that doesn't make sense. So I have to go into the tunnel and look, and you find it's a branch of a tree. So that's what the mind is. Mind is not just a light at the end of the tunnel, it's the vastness and the looking of the tunnel, the whole distance between you and that light. And that branch is one thought. If the tunnel is full of objects for miles and miles and miles and miles, light years of objects, but you still see the light, you feel there's some sort of effort to make, some sort of journey, some sort of methods and practices I have to remove. I have to move down this tunnel to find this light. But when you stop, close your eyes, where does the tunnel go? The idea is the tunnel in your mind is still there. The mind is still there. You see, the mind is not just the tunnel and the light and the vastness. The mind is you. There's no escape. So as human beings, we spend our whole life trying to remove the objects, build the objects, remove the objects, change the objects, make the objects more acceptable, and forget about the light. And that can be a very, very peaceful and simple way. Or you let your mind understand what it is and let it do what it has to do, and stop trying to push the mind to show pictures of the tunnel, to show images within the tunnel, to show objects within the tunnel, to give you information about how far the light is away. You see, that's the human mind. We're seeking and searching for something that we know exists, but we think it's that light at the end of the tunnel is the most important thing, and the tunnel is in the way, the objects are in the way, everything is in the way. The tunnel and the objects and the light itself are thoughts, ideas, concepts. There's nothing scientific about life, nothing religious about life, nothing spiritual about life. Life is life. That's a surrendering. It's not a surrendering to say I'm giving up on my role as a as a man, as a worker, as a husband, or as a son. I'm not giving up my role as that. That's surrendering a part of the mind. Surrendering is to say everything is as it is. Whatever the mind says it is, it is. Whatever the mind says it is not, it is not. And it appears as if it is, and then it disappears and reappears as if it is not, as if it is not. And we call it contradiction, and we call it conflict, and we call it an inability to understand what we are, what life is, what God is. But the inability itself is a thought. The ability is a thought. Everything is thought. Mind is an infinite vastness of thoughts. From one thought, I exist. The thought, I exist. Do you need another thought? Do you need another thought? The next thought could be, I exist, but I want this. I exist, but I need this. I exist, but I'm not happy like this. I exist, but I want more. I exist, I want to be famous. I exist, I want to give my life to the poor. These are subsequent thoughts in the tunnel. I exist as the tunnel. I exist as the light. Even the Bible, even Christ says, I am the light. I am the way. The way is the tunnel. Lift up the stone and you will find me there. Even the objects, I am. Even the objects, I am. Even the distance, I am. Even the measurement, I am. There's no separation. There's no beginning and end to existence. Existence is ultimate. The mind has a job to do to try and make something out of itself. Like the man has a job to do to make something out of himself. What is your purpose in life? What are you going to do with yourself? And we create impossibilities. We create dreams. We create hopes about enlightenment and all that nonsense. There is no enlightened one. There is no one. Even non-duality and wholeness, they're not one. Everything is zero. Zero. What is zero? You see? Is zero in an infinite possibility in mind? Is it another hoax, another journey, another way to take you somewhere else, to take you to another dimension, another life form, another species, another way? Consciousness does not have a beginning and end. It will reproduce and reproduce and reproduce and reproduce. Just like animals reproduce, just like stars reproduce, just like atoms and molecules reproduce, just like human beings reproduce. That's our reproduction. Reproduction. The pulse beat is on. But we can't cope with the non-reproduction. You see, we can't cope with that because I'm happy with this life and I don't want another one. That's in living in fear. I'm happy with this one and I want more. That's living in fear. Let the mind be free. Don't think about tomorrow, yesterday. Be present. Be present. The tunnel will disappear. The objects will disappear. The light will disappear. And I, whatever I is, cannot disappear. It cannot disappear. There's no end. There's no beginning. There's no me. That is secondary or primary. There's a mirror pulsating the same image. And it will pulsate and pulsate the same image. But this image is vast. It's not just one planet. It's not just a billion galaxies. It is totality. One image of totality is appearing the same image as totality from the beginning that never existed to the end that will never come. But the pulse will go on and on. It will reproduce. It will change. It will supersede. It will destroy. It will create. But it will never not be here as that it is. Doesn't make sense, does it? The minute you say life doesn't make sense, you're free. The minute you think I can find a way to make sense, you're on a journey in the tunnel. One day it's a good day, next day bad. One day pain, next day suffering. One day I'm here, the next day I'm not. Then I'm back again. Then I'm not. On and on I goes.